Required Nevada Disclosures, Part 2. There are disclosures in which the Nevada Real Estate Division requires a licensee to use in a real estate transaction that are all governed by NRS 645, the Nevada Revised Statutes. In the last video, we discussed the duties owed, supplemental to the duties owed, and the consent to act. So if you missed that video, be sure to click the link below. In this video, we'll take a look at the seller's real property disclosure and the residential disclosure guide to understand the impact and protection they provide to the consumer. So let's dive in. SRPD, Seller's Real Property Disclosure. The Seller's Real Property Disclosure, or SRPD for short, allows the seller to disclose any known problems, any information about the property that could affect the buyer's use or decision to purchase, and notate items that have been repaired or replaced. This particular document is immersed in Nevada law and has over 17 different references in the Nevada Revised Statutes. Purpose of the statement. This statement is a disclosure of the condition of the property in compliance with the Seller's Real Property Disclosure Act that went into effect January 1st, 1996. This statement is a disclosure of the condition and information concerning the property knowingly by the seller, which materially affects the value of the property. Unless otherwise advised, the seller does not possess any expertise in construction, architecture, engineering, or any other specific related areas to the construction or condition or the improvements of the property or the land. Also, unless otherwise advised, the seller has not conducted any inspections of generally inaccessible areas such as the foundation or the roof. The statement is not a warranty of any kind by the seller or by the agent representing the seller in the transaction, and is not a substitute for an inspection or warranties the buyer may wish to obtain. Systems and appliances addressed on this form by the seller are not part of the contractual agreement as to the inclusion of any system or appliance as a part of the binding agreement. Instructions to the seller. 1. Answer all questions. 2. Report all known conditions affecting the property. 3. Attach additional pages with your signature if additional space is required. 4. Complete this form yourself. And 5. If some items do not apply to your property, check NA, not applicable. Effective January 1, 1996, failure to provide a purchaser with a signed disclosure statement will enable the purchaser to terminate an otherwise binding purchase agreement and seek other remedies provided by law. See NRS 113.150. The seller must fill out the form. Real estate agents are not allowed to fill out the SRPD for their clients. In addition, if the seller is admitting a statement of fact about their property, something that's not quite right, and the agent knows about it, the agent becomes culpable and could face disciplinary action against them and possibly lose their license. So make sure as a seller you disclose everything you know about your property, and as a buyer, make sure you read the SRPD thoroughly so that you can be informed and make an informed decision about the property that you are purchasing. Residential Disclosure Guide. The Residential Disclosure Guide is a 32-page publication with an acknowledgement signature page put out by the Real Estate Division. It is a disclosure of several topics that help educate both buyer and seller in the real estate transaction and the responsibilities of each party related to the transaction. Some topics covered are HOA and common interest communities, construction defects required disclosures in the state of Nevada, impact fees on new construction, manufactured housing, building and zoning codes, home inspections, and more. The Department of Business and Industry, Nevada Real Estate Division, has developed this booklet to increase awareness and understanding of disclosures that may be required by the buyer or seller during the sale or purchase of a residential property in the state of Nevada. In almost every real estate transaction, some form of written disclosure is required. For example, real estate licensees must disclose if they're related to a party in the transaction or affiliated with a lender involved in approving the loan for that particular transaction. Sellers, for instance, are responsible for disclosing material facts, data, and other information relating to the property they are attempting to sell. And buyers, in some cases, must disclose if they're choosing to waive their 10-day opportunity to conduct risk assessment for lead-based paint hazards. These are only a few examples of what must be disclosed during a real estate transaction. While it's not possible to outline which disclosures are needed in every situation, as each real estate transaction is unique, this booklet contains discussions on most commonly required state and federal disclosures. References to the real estate licensee and the sale of residential properties in this booklet apply only to the state of Nevada. This guide, however, does not specifically address vacant land or commercial properties. I hope you enjoyed this informational video and possibly learned something new. To view the duties owed supplemental, consent to act, seller's real property disclosure, and the residential disclosure guide, click on the links below. Thanks for joining us and check out more videos on our channel.